Hello, hello. Can you see me? Are you receiving me? I'm excited. I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while now. It's very similar to my sketchbook video. Today we'll be looking at my favorite art supplies. My everyday carry, if you will. Now, while I work primarily as a digital artist, I like to practice and sketch in my books from time to time. In fact, this year, 2023, I've been sketching the most I've ever done. If you can believe it, I'm on my third sketchbook this year, which past Hector would have been astounded by because before I couldn't even finish a sketchbook before getting distracted and moving on. Anyways, these are what I use to sketch my sketchbooks almost every day. I've got some graphite in there, some ink, some erasers. But before we get started, I'd like to get some disclaimers out of the way. 1, I won't be covering sketchbooks in this video. If you want to see that, you could check out my previous sketchbook video. It's my #1 video, by the way. I'll link it here. 2, and most importantly, and if we can get real here, the best art tool is whatever you have on hand. Whatever can get you drawing more often, that's the key. If all you have at home is a #2 pencil that you borrowed, that's perfectly fine. These supplies are not necessary to be a good artist, but having tools that you like certainly can't hurt. Okay, back to the video. 1 is the Angu pencil case. Although I draw mostly here at home, I still use a case to keep my primary and secondary supplies organized. By the way, if you want to see what my secondary supplies are, comment down below. I don't use them often, but I think they're pretty neat and it would make for a fun video. Obviously, this case really comes in handy when you're traveling and sketching out in public. Quality-wise, I mean, it gets the job done. There's a couple compartments to further organize your supplies, but overall nothing crazy or innovative here. Moving on to what's inside. 2, a light pencil. So something like a 2H or an HB is fine. For those uninformed, pencils vary from a spectrum of hardness to blackness. Usually most pencils come standard HB, or as you may know, 2, which is middle of the road on the spectrum. Darker pencils have graphite that's usually softer, and harder pencils usually graphite that's lighter. I usually start my drawings by blocking in shapes with a light pencil. I prefer something not too hard, something like an 2H or even an HB is just fine. But I recommend experimenting with different types of pencils and seeing what you like. Maybe pick up those variety packs and see what you gravitate towards. Anyways, brand-wise, my go-to are Staedtler pencils. I've never had a bad time using them. They're a pretty solid brand in terms of quality. I bought these. This specifically is a Wopex like brand, which I noticed is like the wood's a lot harder and their quality is nice. But I bought like a pack of like HBs. So I just have a bunch of these green pencils. They're fine. They work, they get the job done. But yeah, moving on to my next supply. After I have a rough sketch down, I like to move on to drawing with a darker pencil like a 4B or a 6B. Now, because the graphite is a lot softer in darker pencils, I've noticed I go through these a lot faster than lighter pencils. So I usually double up on these bad boys. You may have noticed I'm not using a Staedtler dark pencil. I must have gotten through them all. I'm telling you, it's no joke. I have more coming in the mail though. Now, eventually your pencils are gonna run dull, so you're gonna need Sharpener. This is the Faber-Castell Trio Sharpener. Again, a German brand. I guess they know they're stationary over there because my favorite sketchbook brand is also German, Leuchtturm, if you saw my sketchbook video. Anyways, about the sharpener, this sharpener is the only one you'll ever need. It's got a hole for average size pencils, big pencils, and colored pencils. It's a little bulky, but I get a perfect sharpening every time. It's pretty efficient. Now, drawing is all nice and dandy, but sometimes you mess up. You're gonna need an eraser. This is the one I have. Again, Staedtler is the brand that I prefer. More specifically, the Staedtler Mars plastic eraser is my go-to. And I don't know, I haven't really experimented with erasers a lot, but this one is the one that I've used. Like starting out, I used like the standard rubber like pink ones, and those are okay. But I've gravitated towards this one. I like this one. But what if you need to make a more precise erase and, you know, this thing is too bulky? Well, I got a mechanical eraser. Ever heard of a mechanical eraser before? For when you need to make tiny erasing adjustments that a regular eraser is just too big for, the mechanical eraser is perfect for. But these are cool. I didn't know these guys existed until a few months ago when I went to my local art supply store and found these. This one in particular is the Factus BM2. Oh, rolls right off the tongue. I know that there's also like those automatic erasers that vibrate, but that seems like way too much power for what I'm doing. Moving on, I think this is the most underrated tool in my arsenal. The blending stump. Used obviously for blending and getting those nice mid-tones in your drawing. But it's crazy what some simple blending can do to a drawing, you know? Some minor rendering can give your drawing some nice form and structure to it. It goes from flat to nice and three-dimensional. What I love about these is that they're just paper stumps. They'll last forever. You don't got to sharpen them or anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure that these are the ones that I had from college back in the day. Erasers and blending stumps, I guess they'll last a while, huh? Next item is another pencil, a mechanical pencil this time. The Pentel Graph Gear 1000. I think this is actually like a pencil that like architects use, because it's got that feel to it. It doesn't feel like a drawing pencil. But I gotta be frank, this pencil felt like a bit much when I bought it. It's made of metal. It's damn near $30. But you know what? I was sick of having like a million cheap mechanical pencils in the house, so I decided to downsize and focus on quality here. The thing that attracted me to this was the hefty metallic body. It's got some good weight to it. It feels good to hold. I think that's important and a valid reason enough to use the tool, you know? It writes very smoothly, it writes precisely, which is really what mechanical pencils excel in. You can only get that from regular pencils if you sharpen them at like every minute, you know? The eraser is pretty much non-existent on this thing, but that's what you got our actual erasers for, you know? It does this cool retracting thing. Here, let me show you. So, you press on it, focus, focus, comes out. Okay, that's cool. Then press this thing. It's so cool. I mean, the lead sticks out still, so you have to like do this. You have to make sure there's no lead sticking out. It's cool. And then moving on to my last tool. Last art tool we have lined up is a pen, and the only pen on my list. It's the Lamy rollerball pen. This is also another pricey item. I think this was about $30 as well. Ironically, I don't really draw with inks much. That's something I'm trying to do more lately, but allow me to explain why I have this and why I use this. I got this because I wasn't a fan of using ballpoint pens to draw. I don't like how the ink looks. I hate when the ink clogs up and gets sticky. I also tried those like Sakura drawing pens, and I like those too. But it always felt so wasteful throwing away a whole pen when it ran out of ink. I wanted a pen that you can refill, so I tried something new and picked up this rollerball pen. Here are what the refills look like, by the way. It's not as economical as, say, a fountain pen, you know, where that just uses ink. It doesn't use any cartridges. But I like the premium feel of it compared to those Sakura drawing pens I mentioned earlier. And hang on, let's pause here. What is a rollerball pen, by the way? Well, it's not quite a ballpoint pen, and it's not quite a fountain pen. It's somewhere in the middle. Rollerball pens give off more ink than ballpoints, so you don't have to apply as much pressure when drawing. The ink also doesn't feel as thick or low quality as ballpoint pens, and so as a trade-off, the water-based inks in rollerball pens are more prone to drying. But the result is this like nice bolder look in your strokes. I love that, like seeing that in my art, you know? Like if I work with ink, I want like the ink to be on the thicker side. So how's it draw? Not too bad, honestly. I need to use this tool more often, but from what I've done using it, I'm pleasantly surprised. All right, and that about wraps up my everyday art supplies. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know 9 feels like an awkward number to leave on, but hey, that's life, you know? I'm not trying to bullshit you, you know? These are the ones that I use. Sometimes life is filled with awkward moments, but what can you do? Like I said, if you want to see my secondary art supplies, comment down below. You know, they're still useful, but I don't use them as often as these tools, obviously. Now, if I can get a little introspective here, you know, I'm taking a look back this past year, and I've noticed I've drawn with traditional tools so much more lately. I'm sure I'm a digital artist, but I think it's important to draw on paper every now and then, and to not rely on Undo or any of those tools. I feel like it's a good exercise in improving your hand-eye coordination and confidence. That definitely builds up. And, you know, seeing yourself improve certainly can't hurt either. With all this talk of AI art, I guess subconsciously I went the other direction and got more hands-on with the creative process. You know what I mean? AI art, if, you know, that's a whole other conversation. I could do a separate video on that. But getting my hands dirty and feeling the pencils and pens in my hand, touching the paper, that tactile sensation, I've learned to appreciate that lately. Every now and then, it's good to be mindful and use your senses to fully appreciate something, you know? This past year, during my time vending and talking to people, drawing for them in real time with my own hands, seeing their smiles when I hand them their art, that human connection, that personal satisfaction, feels good. That's something that technology can't take away from us. And I think that's something important to keep in mind. But yeah, thanks for watching, folks. By the time this video is out, I should already have some YouTube shorts out lately. Let me know what you think of them. Comment down below. I should actually have like a couple out. I think like 4 now. Feel free to check them out if you actually want to see my art, you know, the meat and potatoes of my work. I should have my next video out by the end of this month. You know, this one's a little late because I had some dentist work, I had a root canal done. You know how it is. But yeah, I love you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye.